Excellent, and welcome to the TAD Summit online conference. I'm really happy to have Karim from Unifonic back here again. Karim, how are you?
Good, great. Always a pleasure being with you, Alan, and it's been quite some time. So I'm
Yes,
happy. Yes.
since 2023, and the market has just been evolving so fast. We have a lot to discuss, so I'm really excited about that. Now, back in 2023, you gave a session on Unifonic's origin story, which I think is really interesting, and looking at programmable communications in the Middle East. I'll put a link in the weblog I write about this. Now, back then, Unifonic had reached 500 employees and over a billion transactions per month. So it was cooking on gas, as we say here. And you covered a lot of important trends that have really proven out over the past 2 years. So I'm just interested in to begin with, a quick update on how things are going for Unifonic.
Sure, sure. Good starting point. So yeah, I mean, by that time in 2023, it was a transformational point for us,
Yeah,
and we were shifting the gears from just focusing on channels.
yeah,
Whether these are telco channels or conversation channels into more SaaS offering.
yeah,
We progressed much on that. And from terms of traffic, I mean, like we've doubled that. So we're up to 2 billion transaction a month,
that's
which I think
great.
is good, yeah. And in terms of the numbers, the teams were around the 500 mark, but
Yeah.
I would say our team ratios changed a lot
Ah,
the
gotcha.
last 3 years. So you can see more engineering, more sales,
Excellent.
and other teams may have squeezed a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say the same number, but the focus and the ratios of the teams have changed
yeah,
quite a
no,
lot.
absolutely. And I think that especially, we'll discuss it later, in engineering, the shifts in technologies that are happening and how you can bring those technologies in, yet keep that focus on moving the product forward. Because the engineering teams, I think it's true to say, are under a lot of pressure at the moment, principally thanks to AI. And I've had several conversations with people around the industry, like Joao. He was got bought. He had a CSAS company. Catching up with Jason Goecki, he was one of the original CPaaS companies, and they're all in this space now of how do we effectively use AI to get something out of the door fast, like MVP, just to show when a customer's asking, "Can we do this?" Within hours, you can say, does this meet what you're looking for? And then using the tools that are available to start scaling that fast. So it's a very challenging and interesting time for engineering teams. So we'll come to that later. I'm just interested in what are the differences between trying to sell, SMS or RCS versus trying to sell something that's conversational. I'm just interested in your view there.
Sure. Let's start with by this one before we go sideways to the
Yeah,
RCS and other channels.
yeah,
But it's very, very good starting point. So, I mean, like originally, I would say SMS was the product, right? It
yeah,
takes a
exactly.
piece of information, deliver that piece of information,
Hmm.
and that was the job. So it was the product by itself, right?
Yeah,
It didn't need a lot of software or enablement tech. Of course, it needed expert in scaling and simplifying that
yeah,
telco language to just blend it in with the programmers.
yes.
Uh, I remember my first TED summits, attending the first TED summits, being enlightened, and thanks to you and the community, I've learned a lot myself. But with the conversation channels, it's different, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a session based, right?
Yes.
There's two parts of it. So that's when you look at that, I mean, like you cannot just consider that you would just treat it like the other SMS and telco
Correct.
channels. But
Yeah.
it comes in with the need of enablement software, whether that is like an agent console or contact center, whatever you would
Yep.
would, but some sort of a terminal where the agent can use to just communicate with the incoming messages.
Yes.
Not only that, but there is a psychology about the conversation channels. For some reason, once you're present as a business on a conversation channel, there is automatically the expectations of the end user that you're available 24 by 7, which
Correct.
is, and when that happened, that means there is a need for automation. And that's
Yes.
what drove in the chatbots and then now the agent and moving and raising the bar as we speak. So
Yes.
those are two key kind of differences. And the third one is that since it was introduced, the conversation channel, whatever this conversation channel is, but you would see two main things. It comes with multimedia,
Yeah.
so we didn't used to have much, or wasn't the norm to do over
Yeah.
the channels, and also uh, there is always a focus on the experience.
Yes. Yeah.
So these
No.
are other two factors when it comes to conversation channels.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that and it really is over the last 18 months, is, I mean, taking India as an example, a strong push for using, like the AI within WhatsApp, because it's just there. It's all integrated. It all works as an atomic core. And to your point, it's something that users see. It is an agent. It's an entity I can ask any question of, rather than, it gives my balance, or it does, it can answer a product detail, but it's far broader in scope, and customers keep coming back and talking to the agent. It's quite interesting, that shift.
Absolutely, and I think that that was even the only focus for me and for a lot of colleagues in the market, where we focus even that even the AI that serves there was the conversational kind of an AI, but that was the
Yes.
starting point.
Yes.
Deeper than that, if you think about it, if it's an RCS or WhatsApp or any other conversation channel, that's the entry point for an AI. But
Yeah.
we overlooked few other aspects where the AI can really be impactful. Like first is what are the interests, like extraction, like the topic classifications,
Yes.
what are the sentiment of the user. I mean, like, and that's
Yeah.
feed later on things that we can discuss. And these things was never catched before. Not only that, but now they use it for closing the loop on the marketing cycle. So like you heard like the click for WhatsApp, that's where the real money is. Like now it's like, okay, there was a certain point on the conversion piece
Yeah.
where you could have dropped, like the user would have dropped. Now
Yes.
is moving that to the conversations. You can track this the period or the phase between him showing interest until he's
Yes.
closing on your system as well. What happened in
Interesting.
between now and was the scale of the conversations was something that is really hard for just a normal human to go through it and
Yes.
analyze. But now in few minutes or few seconds, you can see that crystal clear. You can see where are the drops. You can, because it's tracked, you can
Yeah.
go back and try to trigger the conversation and continue to nurture that user. So yes, it started with conversational AI, but then came the analytics piece
Yeah.
to see the interest. That came the ROI tracking piece, the marketing piece, and even and that's by the way, so one of the aspects that we provide as well, the agent scoring, like how good is my agents as well. So you add
Yes.
AI there to track the conversation and do these things. So it has different dimensions, I would say.
Interesting. Yeah, and especially when you're in a hybrid situation where you still have human and AI agents to be able to do scoring across them all, so that
Yes.
you can look in terms of performance around key metrics. But I absolutely take to heart
And
something that I've seen is, in terms of ROI, but looking at the conversation flow or the process and catching those fall offs where something that was moving down the
that's the key.
track.
That's the key. That's the key. So again, it's starting all the focus or the majority of the focus is, and it's very crowded, the conversational AI piece, but
Yes.
actually the real value is on the other pieces as well. And by the
Yeah.
way, it's not something new. It's just like how
No.
it's newly introduced. So when you think about like the agent analytics, think about it. We used to have the number masking before even
Yes.
to track the service and make sure that we're guarding the off-platform transactions and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is the new way on conversational coupled with AI that you would still maintain your quality of service, right?
Yep.
So you would find the same use cases, but it's evolving
Hmm.
to complement the new channels that the end user and the millennials and the
Yeah.
modern way of communication is adopting.
Understood. Absolutely. Now, just a random question, but I'll just throw it in because I was having a conversation on LinkedIn about this. Is spam and the fraud that happens over these channels. How are you, because, I've always made a big issue of all this. bad things that are happening on SMS. And of course, the response from the SMS crowd is, well, it's as bad on WhatsApp and the other digital channels. I'm interested in your experiences because you work in many different markets.
Yes.
Is it as bad as SMS? I'm just, what's your experience on all the fraud and spam that's out there across these
Yeah.
different platforms?
Yeah, okay. Yes and no, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's very. I mean, like in the Middle East, they are very, very sensitive, especially in GCC and in Saudi. Very, very
Yes.
sensitive about regulatory and fraud and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. And there've been recent even cases for frauds on SMS, and
Yeah.
we've often seen it all over the internet
Oh,
as well.
yeah. Yeah.
On WhatsApp, it's different. Like if you're using the legit APIs, it's really guarded, right?
Yes.
Because we know the originator. You would take a badge or not, so the end
Yeah.
user would know if it's credit or not. It goes through like a mediator like us or others,
Yeah.
and there is guardrails to make sure that they don't just send a blast, that they have
Yes.
numbers opted in for that. But
Yeah.
on the other side, because it is proven for the conversions of the conversation channel, especially on the marketing piece versus the SMS,
Yes.
uh, you've seen people like, I wouldn't say hack, but just like, when you kind of, do you remember the SIM box blast that happens? It's the
Yes.
you try to generate numbers and just without using an AI, sorry, without using the APIs, they
Yes.
try to mimic or simulate the process and send.
Yeah.
Yes, or receive such messages on WhatsApp. We can say that it's not out there. I received them myself.
Yep.
Uh, but I mean, like, because I know the difference, I can spot it right away. But for the end user, it's the same, right? Especially if he
Yes.
some time on adding the right logo and the right formatting and so on.
That's
Uh,
right.
but not on the business APIs itself. I mean, like
No.
I didn't see any cases there yet.
Absolutely, no, that's tight. And it's as a user. And when RCS was being introduced here in North America, I was saying, oh, is this RCS spam? And of course, from the community, the immediate answer was no, Alan. That's a P2P. That's somebody pretending to
Yeah,
be AT. But I don't know the difference. Well, look at this, Alan. So you have to go this learning curve to realize the
yeah,
differences. Meta, WhatsApp is important in the Middle East. Now, and I see it, yeah, I mean, broader. I mean, when I'm looking at Latin America, when I'm looking in Asia, particularly India, I see, its continuing rise. Now, RCS, of course, it's the telco approved process, and it's still getting a lot of hype, particularly here in North America. I'm just interested in your views around the Middle East. Has Meta won with Viber as the worldwide number two, or do you think RCS will come into those markets and not necessarily replace SMS? I mean, SMS, MMS has its role, but start to sort of encroach on some of the WhatsApp use cases.
yeah. So it has different aspects. Like
Yeah,
if it comes to RCS, I'm personally a big believer that it's a very strong stack, right? I've been
yeah,
there from the
from the
since the
beginning. Yeah,
beginning. SMA was pushing for the initiative and the Google efforts and so on.
yeah,
I think what drove it slow in the Middle East was that the telcos didn't take it seriously, right? They didn't take the initiative seriously,
yeah.
and they didn't see the threat clearly at that time.
That's true. Yeah,
Often, yeah, we often get updates. I mean, like, get invited to discuss it with different operators in the region. But again, we go like it doesn't work this way. At least in
yeah.
the country, you would need all the operators to be there to provide the right
Exactly. And
end
we
user.
see it in Europe. It's like in the UK,
Yes.
in Germany. It's as a business, it's easy because it's just
Yes.
one point of contact, and I've covered everybody in the country.
And I would say even like I know in few countries they have initiative that has been running for some time, trying, and some of in specific countries some of them they have the regulatory even sponsoring
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nothing have seen the light, but we've monitoring closely because for
Yeah.
us and for companies like us, having more than one great channel
Yes.
uh, enable innovation. So
Correct.
it's always lovely to have that. Like when they say, okay, we want to kill SMS or kill that, I don't think so. Because I mean, like
No.
you can kill it. I mean, like, but the thing is, like, you would always need an out of band authentication. It is
Yes.
very important that, let's say, kind of message. If you want to do a blast without any regulatory, you would need an SMS. Like
Yeah.
again, I would go back to the use case. Like, and I would see it. If somebody's looking at, okay, what is the winning channel because I would just want to generate margin, I would say that phase is gone.
Yeah,
That's not replicatable. That would not happen.
correct. Yeah,
But for us to have different options to do a certain value for every use case, that would be great. So of course, as you said, like there is a green field for WhatsApp. We can see noticeably the adoption and the growth massively
yeah,
in months. Okay,
yeah,
huge, like jump. And in the region, it's more the adoption is more on the WhatsApp, especially that doesn't have any competition
yeah.
versus I would say the US. But there's different cadences here that need to be taken,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So is the WhatsApp proven for all industries on different use cases? Absolutely not. And when
Correct.
they are very serious, they can take off the business, by the way. It's not like they fine, you know. So for example, banks cannot, and
Yes,
there's no clarity on the marketing piece even for the banking, right? It's
yes,
like on the OTP, not approved yet. Uh,
yeah,
so so exactly there. So when you think about it, is there a chance for, yes, it's too late for the RCS, but if there is chance for it in the region, if it was taken seriously, I believe absolutely yes, especially that it would be hosted and it would fulfill their concerns on such use cases. Because
yeah,
again, we work very closely with the WhatsApp team, and we've recommended a lot, like we've done with Google before, that they can consider deployment in the Saudi or the region for that. Still, I mean, like there's back
oh
and
yeah,
forth, nothing seriously happening. But with the move, like now of the hyperscaler, all the hyperscalers are now launching in the coming 12 months. They've been working
yes,
on it for some time, all their data centers or the cloud,
yes,
their clouds inside Saudi. So maybe they would move with them. Who would move faster? That's something we don't know. But based on the history, I mean, like telcos are not moving that fast. So I think that
yeah,
the local hosting for WhatsApp could come up by that time.
exactly.
Is it the only one on the scene? No, we see some use cases on X. By the way, it's the most adopted channel in
Yes, yeah, I
yes,
was
yes.
reading
Very,
that.
special when it comes to the X. You see
Okay,
like use cases on Instagram in other countries.
yes,
Like I mean,
yeah,
the big on that. Messenger, because of the cost drive focus from some of the channels.
yes,
And the two big players, uh, you don't hear much about them because usually when it comes to channels, you focus more on service operations and customer care. But I mean, like
yes,
there's two big players that are TikTok and Snapchats that
yes,
are big, especially on the marketing. Like they are
yes.
bigger even on the marketing piece, right?
Oh
And
yes,
when you look at the region, um, depending on which country you operate, you would prioritize other set of
yes,
like the
yeah,
the concept is the same.
yes,
The goal and target are the same, but it's different. So
yeah,
maybe we would discuss what is a next generation customer experience platform would look like, and we would come
yeah.
to that.
You know,
Uh,
absolutely, because I think that's very interesting. In fact, my one of my son's friends, she's in. Oh well, he was traveling in France, and she was because it's a TikTok trend. Could you get one of these Labubu dolls?
yeah,
And I was like, they're ugly,
yeah,
But and of course he's hunting around. Like I said, they're sold out everywhere because it's
yeah.
such a major social phenomenon, and it's got all the sales and the customer care in there as well. So it's a very atomic thing that when you're riding that trend, boy, if you got TikTok, you're just driving,
Oh,
bro.
if like especially for BTC businesses,
Yeah,
if you're not on TikTok and Snapchat, you're
no
missing
way.
like
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You're missing a lot. So things are changing massively on that front.
yeah,
But maybe they at the end of the day they are a conversation like media platforms yet,
yeah.
but they are kind of following the conversation channel hypes, if you
That's
think about
right.
it, but it's more on the marketing or the martech piece of it,
Yeah.
not the conversational AI piece of it. So it's growing, you know.
Yep, yep. So I guess just to summarize that, the shift to sovereign data centers, so it's within Saudi, the data stays within Saudi, means we're likely to see some of the IP messaging platforms, growing. And RCS, I mean, it just needs to catch, well, it needs to catch up, being frank, but it needs to act at a similar speed as some of the other
I
IP-based
think in the coming, you can
platforms.
put it this way, in the coming 24 months, if it didn't happen,
Yeah.
I really think it's really late because even
Yes.
the only advantage that they would have on the being local is gone. And by the way, it's very interesting. Like it's a funny thing. If you think about the once the RCS was launched, it had way way more featured than the WhatsApp.
Yes.
Way more features, right?
Yes.
Like the cursors for example, came very late on the WhatsApp. It was already there from the RCS from day one. But
Yes.
because they waited so long, like they catched up now, and there's
Yes.
being other use like features that is being launched as well. So
Exactly.
there's no move then until the coming, let's say, 24 months until they launch something local
Yeah.
in the region or in Saudi. I
Yeah.
think there wouldn't be any modes for competition.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, I think that is definitely disappearing. And when I'm looking at the sales processes around, for example, WhatsApp, they just point to a market here. Well, this is what we did with this particular sale. This is how we, the whole flow around, the commercials that happens across. So you see them being used in so many different ways. I mean, when I'm traveling in South America, and I'm not like searching it out. It's simply I'm checking on like a guide for because I'm looking at travel within a particular area, and all the guides have links to the WhatsApp pages for those people, and you can ping them, and they respond immediately in English. So I think it's a very interesting time
Absolutely.
where they're building up the skills. Yes, it makes it ripe for other platforms, but those other platforms need to execute at a similar speed. I really think the point you're making around TikTok, Snapchat, Viber is really more from a European perspective. It's like always it's the number two, but I think that number two position is now being eroded because there's all these other platforms. And let's face it, it's fashion. You know, go for it.
Yeah, and I think Viber in the Middle East is not number two. It does not
True,
exist. Like it
true,
doesn't exist,
true. Yeah,
So
that's a
that's
good
why I
point.
said like from a one country and from one region to another.
Yeah,
I mean, like I heard in other countries, for example, it's at the number two, or they can be used for a less cost,
yeah,
and that's why it's just like the only thing that I keep reflecting on, with all honesty, is like it's never like the only one channel, right? So that's
yes,
why there's
that's
always,
it.
yes, there's a green field, there is a massive hype and potential. But even if so, I would always see, if RCS didn't come up the region, I would always see something eventually coming
Correct.
uh, to the field, because there is a space, like
Yes, absolutely. And because competition is so much more open these days. Yes, the regulation can say only with banking. Well, again, I sort of look and it's just time.
Yes.
The IP-based platforms will solve some of the issues that are forcing the regulator to, you must use SMS or RCS. But, it's just a matter of time because of customer push. Uh,
Yes.
Anyway, we could talk for ages around that one. But moving back to some of the questions, one of the things, and we discussed it right at the beginning, is AI and automation. And it really has exploded over the last 2 years. And back then, when you presented, you identified three areas, excuse me, around chatbots, personalization, and analytics. So just given the past 2 years, what's worked, what's maybe underperformed, and how do you see that moving forward over the next 2 years?
So I would say we started like yes, in 2 years we did our acquisition in AI.
Yes. Yeah.
Very quick there. But we started even having our own AI squads. I would
Yeah.
say 10 to 12 months ago.
Yeah.
And I since then I would say we have different learnings, right?
Yeah.
Uh, we still focus on the three areas which we discussed, which I mean like maybe a different positioning and tweaking, but they are around the same domains, like the customer care, the marketing automation, and the personalization,
Yeah.
or we refer to hyper personalization. And of course, each of them has a set of solution
Yeah.
in place. But I would say what didn't work is like uh, because the hardware, I mean, like the hardware providers and the AI sell it with like the compute power as they always do.
Yeah.
People tend to think that you can sell the AI as a tech. That didn't work. So
Yeah.
people doesn't buy AI just like a tech, right? They
Yeah.
want to see the solution. They want to see
Yes.
business-driven kind of impact that's out there, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The other thing is like the focus is more on use cases. Like
Yes.
yes, they can ask, they are curious about understanding what is an agentic AI, Gen AI, but when it comes to paying the money, they need to understand what impact are they driving, and they
Exactly.
wouldn't look at how much AI is there. They know it's AI, but they don't know what, like which AI, how AI is in there is not a big thing. So
Yeah.
we focus on the three areas, like the customer care, the marketing automation, the personalization,
Yeah.
and we leverage everything. We leverage Gen AI, agentic AI,
Yeah.
LLMs, and we do actually some customization for models.
Cool.
Uh, but we tend to use them to serve the business
Yeah.
use case to drive a value on that front
Yeah.
because otherwise it's tough. And I think
Yeah.
it's more and more moving towards verticalization
Yeah.
and use case driven, like even if it's horizontal, but it's more like a use cases, except for the big players which were working on the foundational
Yeah.
models
Yeah.
where they can really sell it like something like a commoditized kind of an offering. But other
Yeah.
than it's tough to follow the same direction.
Exactly. I mean, there's the foundational model is something you build on for your particular use case, and whether you're using sort of voice to voice or voice through text to speech, speech to text, I that's implementation details, and that shifts. I mean, the technology it's almost like every 6 to 10 months there's another technology leap. So as I said at the start, the poor engineering teams in all these companies and Unifonic, you're constantly having to evolve the product. So there's always development taking
Yes.
place.
And we're always curious to try everything, but we want to
Yes,
be focused. Focused on
yes,
what? What we try to do is that we want to be shadowing the business in serving and providing the best customer experience for the users across their customer journey. And this is
yeah.
why we pick these three areas, whether for AI and SaaS
Gotcha,
offering that we have. And we use our strong channels infrastructure to complement that.
gotcha.
So it's either customer care, whether support, selling, or something, or marketing and sales activities, or even personalization and insights to know more your customers and be able to reach them with more targeted offering and communication.
Exactly. And you can measure that so you can say, we've experimented with this particular technology and we've discovered that with customer care, we have this satisfaction improvement, that we've seen material, turn into this level of improved repeat sales because they had a great experience. So they come back. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of using the business and the use cases and its performance to drive the evolution rather than, oh, here's a new tech, let's throw it out there.
Because even there's another wrong perception in the market as well, which is another big learning, is that there is always the whenever you track the news over the internet
Yeah.
and the social media, there is always the tendency that they make the businesses feel that it's commoditized and for free.
Yeah.
So even this kind of a Gen AI out of the box offering, people, I mean, like businesses are not willing to pay money for it. Like they
Correct.
would pay money for it when they see it solutionized
Yes.
and impacting value.
Yes.
And, and the other thing is like the AI shine and give you the right outcome when it's integrated, it's mapped to your data and integrated with your systems and adding
Exactly.
the right guardrails.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's as if you're bringing somebody who's foreigner to operate your business. It doesn't
Yes.
work that way. Like it doesn't mean that he would do the job, right? And this
It's
is
a
the
new
commoditization.
employee. It's putting your new employee right in front of the customer and say, go for it.
Absolutely. So, but you want to make sure that you have the best employee. How would you have the best employee that
Yes.
he trains on your data, he
Exactly.
trains on your calls, he understands your systems, and
Yes.
then he can start learning, reasoning, and adapting. Like with like
Exactly.
learn, reason, and adapt, and that's where you kind of can foster this value.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes it interesting. That sort of answers the next question. I was going to ask her, how do you sell AI in the Middle East? And what you're saying is you don't. It's one of the technologies, and it's all about the business impact in the verticals that you can apply it. But
And
I'm just interested because there's a lot of hype at the moment from Microsoft around its co-pilots. And the advertising is basically something that feels like Face App from like 2017, which is, in the advert, the guy takes a picture and then says, make it anime. And I'm like, well, okay, that's quite old. And I don't see what's going to drive businesses to have their employees taking pictures and making them look like anime characters. I just, you still see we're at this, it's tech for tech's sake, rather than, tech translated into clear, identifiable business impacts.
Okay. So I'll answer the Microsoft piece and I will tell you
Yeah.
how we're doing the pricing. I'm not sure that we're doing the best so far. We're still learning, but I would
Yeah.
tell you that's the topic everybody's talking about. Are we selling it right?
Gotcha.
How we could sell it and so on. So this is a big question in the market now is what
Yeah.
is the best way to sell AI?
Yeah.
First, starting with the Microsoft piece, I think what is benefiting Microsoft is that they are always brilliant with bundling. So
Yeah.
anybody who went and bought the Copilot, like look at it this way, like right?
Yeah.
Nobody went and bought, but it's always offered on the 365 with the Office, blended with whatever. So it ends
Gotcha.
up being something for free.
Yeah.
And brilliant that they kind of this way they can drive the adoption as much as they want, and they can tell you, okay, even when they show the financials, they can show like, okay, he pays $100, where 70 of them was for the Copilot and 30% for everything else, which is not the case, right? So when you look at it,
Yeah.
like I'm not against, by the way, but I mean like
Yeah.
I don't see somebody who's getting a monthly bill on Copilot, right?
Yes.
He's
Correct.
having it as part of a bigger
Package.
offering or
Gotcha.
package that he sees
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
So
Makes
We,
a lot
we,
of
we
sense.
use it too, right? It's part
Yep.
of our, and we like it and everything, but we didn't buy it by itself.
Yeah.
And looking at the pricing, we wanted to simplify it as much as possible, to be honest. So we went through subscription based,
Yeah.
but with a fair usage,
Yep.
non-transactional at all, but with a fair usage,
Yeah.
because for AI, you would know that the computing power is high. We pay a lot,
Yes.
so it has to include that. Is that the ideal situation or what where we want to be? Absolutely not.
Okay.
Uh, we believe in outcome-based
Yep.
pricing. We're
Yep.
moving towards that. Are we ready for it? No, because it need to be kind of directed through certain verticals, industry,
Yes.
and we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
still in the process.
Yeah.
But so far, yes, we're doing subscription and moving for the outcome-based.
Yeah, and
There's
that
a
makes
lot.
a lot of sense because as you build more experience and the customer gets more confidence in what can be delivered, then they're like, oh, yeah, I know this is going to, basically, I'm going to make 100% on this given the revenue impact or the cost savings because we've done it year after year before. So it's partially history, I think. In the US, branded calling is, you know, so this is where the call comes in, and it's not just a caller ID. It can be the brand, it can be purpose of the call. But the problem that many businesses are having is price. It's 12 US cents per call. So just interested across the Middle East, is branded calling entering the market at all?
I love this question because this is a clear example on the localizing of the services and the
Yeah.
localizing. Actually, it's there, but it's positioned completely different, Alan, right?
Oh,
So it's a mandate on businesses, a
gotcha.
regulatory mandate for them to be able to trigger a marketing call, and even for some of the services. So it's not being seen as a monetization aspect, but rather a regulatory mandate. So
Oh,
that's what I love about hearing to the different industries. Like I think if they know that, they would definitely put a monetization strategy for it. But yeah, in the Middle East, it's there, but it tells you, okay, that's a real estate kind of a marketing call. This is a teleco call for like it
yeah.
give you these. And some of it is dynamic as well, so it keeps the first like the name of the company and then dash the classification or the
Yeah.
classifier role. But it's
Interesting.
the regulatory mandate. That's why I tell you like they are big on regulatory. Like they prioritized having it as seen as or as a mode for regulatory and guarding the consumer rather than monetizing the service.
Yeah, that's interesting because yeah, the US is not in a good state at the moment on PSTN calling. I mean, customers use many different types of calling. PSTN calling, and let me just because I was looking at it yesterday, but just give
Yeah.
me a sec to look at. There we go. Scam likely, scam likely, scam likely. Okay, so half the calls I received yesterday was scam likely. That's the
Yeah,
notification I get. So guess what I do? I don't answer the calls. That's
exactly.
what's happening in the US. The PSDN is being so polluted. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it is or not. All I know is there's a call coming in, it's been marked as scam likely, so I don't answer it. It's a crazy
So it's
thing.
used here the same, like this is marketing call, this is whatever.
That's
So they
nice.
call it for that.
Okay.
So we avoid the spam, or if somebody want to know about this project or this service, he can pick up the phone. Yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. Now, in the US, there's also an interesting contrast between companies like ClerkChat, it's a startup in the conversation messaging space, and then the aggregators selling RCS as a channel. Now, ClerkChat works on WhatsApp, it works on all the different platforms because it's like if it can support conversations, then they work with it.
A consumer adopted channel, which is like a kind of a quiet, calm channel where they can
Yeah,
reach family and friends. They love it the most. They use it, whether
gotcha.
that uh, Apple Business Chat, WhatsApp,
Yep.
or and then businesses being innovative, they see this channel as an opportunity. So they
Yeah.
jump in and they start spamming you, right?
Yes.
Because they wanna reach you where you are because
Yeah.
people are, and it's all about the right equilibrium, like the quality of the offers and the messages there. If you're
Yeah.
getting an update from your bank, you would be happy, right?
Yeah.
But you're getting spam about an endless offers, you would hate it. So
Yes.
it's about messages, and I think this is the mechanism that WhatsApp's trying to do.
Yes.
Uh, and I think this is the mechanism that how many like because businesses doesn't see the number of messages that reach every consumer. He could
Yeah.
be same consumer of 12 brands. If
Yeah.
each one of them sent you two messages a day, you end up by 60 messages. You will uninstall the WhatsApp or the RCS or whatever it
Yes.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where you have to be you need to have the governance there
Gotcha.
where okay he reached his limit, I would not receive that message. If you want to keep this channel as the preferred channel for the consumer, because this is people doesn't right people doesn't pick the or consumer doesn't pick the RCS or the WhatsApp or the message for their
No.
great features or whatever. They
No.
see where is the adoption of the users and they go towards that. So if whomever is responsible for that governance doesn't play that like role well,
Yeah.
he will lose the essence, right?
Yes, that makes a lot
So
of sense. That makes a lot of sense because here, again, it's country by country. I know people in the UK are quite frustrated about the amount of messages they receive through WhatsApp, while here in North America, I'm WhatsApp's quiet. It's only
no, no,
conversations
I mean
with the
like it's like I'm afraid if they didn't do it, like now I'm holding my phone. I mean, like my friends keep saying it's crazy because the adoption happened. So
yes,
everybody's crazy about it. So you can see this kind of a like a SIM card kind of a blast and these kind of things.
yeah,
It's non-spot, non-stop. So you will keep blocking some numbers, but
yeah.
if the practice continue, it would end up that a lot of users would be leaving the platform.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I guess yeah, it's just phases of adoption. As that
Yeah.
traffic, then you've got to be far more draconian in your governance to block off anybody that hasn't gone through all the
And
approvals.
that was their concern. If you remember, they delayed it so much, the rollout for the business APIs at the beginning.
Yes,
They were afraid they were catching the momentum and they wanted to continue on catching the momentum from the BBMs and
yep,
the messages and the others. And now they are in. So they need to find a way to keep it up when it comes to the experience.
gotcha. Well, we need to start wrapping this up. I've just looked at the time. It's like, well, the conversation's too interesting.
Yeah.
But let's just a few questions
Sure.
towards the end that we listed out. So, what do you think are going to be some of the major shifts in customer engagement? And how AI is accelerating those changes.
Okay, great question. So I would say like three major shifts, right?
Yeah,
With customer engagement and the
yeah,
acceleration of AI that is happening. Like first, the move from transactional interactions into
yeah,
more intelligent contextual experience. That's number one.
yeah,
That's proven clear, and there's a great value there, right?
yeah,
And I mean, like customer expect proactive engagement, not just fast. Like it was faster with a chatbot only, or a service here or there, but with the agentic AI and with the adoption of AI, it would not be just faster. It would be more proactive type of engagement.
yeah.
And the last piece, which is I mean, like from my perspective, is a game changer, is like AI will enable hyper personalization at scale, and that would demand a rethink for data architecture and orchestration. But
Yes.
what does I mean, like actually mean? If you think about it this way, like segments is any marketer will talk about segments, but
Yeah.
segments is something that us as a human created because that's the smallest group that we can label with a certain
Yeah.
sharing features to target them.
Yeah.
But with AI, he doesn't need to do that. So every user would be that segment. So he
Yeah.
would go to hyper-personalization at scale and optimizing the offering and the communication and the message for each individual end user. So
Yep.
think AI will perfect the communication, sending right content over the right time to the right participant, and that would be a result of this acceleration.
Understood. Now, how's Unifonic integrating AI into its product stack? Because it is a complex problem and it's constantly evolving.
Yes, absolutely. So we have we have different streams. Like we have the three domains that we talk to,
Yeah.
the customer care, the marketing automation, and the
Yeah.
personalization parts. And we use a mix of technologies there, but we use also Gen AI over the platform with the like with the target in mind to increase the customer experience in general,
Okay.
not as offering for the customer.
Understood.
We do a lot of investment in Arabic verticalized agentic AI
Yeah.
domain specific LLMs. That's something that we bet heavily on because
Yeah.
we see a huge appetite for agentic AI in the market. And the difference between agentic and generative Gen AI is that agentic still is something that customers are willing to pay for from what we've seen on
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Intent is used across all the channels. I wouldn't even specify one of them. All the
Yeah.
channels, the voice, SMS, or conversations, it's
Yeah.
there. We use it across the board, and we use a lot of AI on our user engagement analytics. We are
Gotcha.
expecting to launch something big on that front toward the end of the year
Oh,
about
cool.
experiences efforts there.
Yeah, understood. And then just to wrap up, how do you balance all the innovation that's taking place at the moment with the need to deliver stable, secure products at scale? Because that's what your customers want to buy.
Yeah.
It's something that works well, and I have confidence in it.
Yes. I would say that like we you need to master like the balance between build versus buy versus partner
Yeah,
and really avoid the temptation. I mean, like we all have a small engineer inside us, but I mean, like you need to avoid the temptation of building everything, you know?
yeah,
So partner on foundational model or infrastructure heavy tools,
gotcha,
uh, build where the customer data or the business logic would give you an edge, right?
gotcha.
And try to differentiate on layers like the customer experience, orchestration, or domain models, because I wouldn't say it's realistic to go into like competing on a foundational model kind of space.
Nope, that makes absolutely 100% agree. So that's great guide in terms of putting those different categories together and where to focus. I mean, we're well over time. So I'd
Yeah,
just like to thank
always
you so.
lovely with you and catching up.
I know.
We can keep going. So yeah,
I know we could keep going, but definitely when your launch happens towards the end of the year or early into next, let me know. I'm
I
happy
would
to
love to.
do
Yeah,
another session where we can delve into that and
sure.
get some product demos because that's
Absolutely.
always fun.
Absolutely.
So again, Karim, so good to catch up. Glad to hear you had an excellent summer and wish you the best for fall and winter.
Thank you very much. Same to you, Alan. Great spending time with you.
Bye bye.